Okay, betting firms and sponsorship in sport. I've noticed over the last 10 years there's been a huge rise in betting firms sponsoring sports teams over here in the UK and in the rest of Europe. And it also not just sponsoring teams, but also sponsoring the competitions. Horse racing I can sort of deal with because that the legalised gambling, so the controlled regulated gambling, helps the horse racing industry a lot. But even then, more non-betting companies are now sponsoring horse racing races and events and days. So that's sort of changing slightly. But in football, rugby league, snooker, darts, there has been a massive rise, especially in football and rugby league, a massive rise in betting companies basically having their name on a football shirt or on a stand or on the billboards, lots of it. When the FA Cup was sponsored by Ladbrokes, I was disheartened and dismayed because the amount of players coming out with gambling problems and saying, yeah, and admitting to it, and there's been several who breached gambling rules and had suspensions. Joey Barton, there you go, that's one. Stuart Bingham, the snooker player, that's another. Stephen Lee, a snooker player, got banned basically for life for match fixing. I think he got a 10-year ban, but it was basically life. He's never going to play professionally ever again. Mostly to do with gambling. Michael Chopra, an ex-football player, had a gambling problem, owed money to some gangsters, loan sharks who threatened to kill him unless he came up with the money. Other players have come out in biographies and autobiographies and stated that insert football name of club, insert teammates' names, insert gambling, legal or otherwise. Then you have to go to outside of the UK and go around the world. There was an NBA referee in 2008, the betting scandal there. Go to Italy, the 2006 match fixing and betting scandal, the Colocco, 2006. You then go to India with Sreesanth, getting banned for life for match fixing due to betting, and I think he went to prison as well. Then you go to Australia to the NRL, where they've had several issues with players breaching gambling rules. The concern is sportsmen and women will get into debt, and then they're in debt to criminals, and the criminals are asked them to fix a match. Also, it's a bad image for young fans growing up associating and seeing these gambling adverts, because I'm not against gambling. I don't say ban it, because the National Lottery and various regional lotteries do a lot of good causes for charities by donating. It's not a problem. But there is a rise in young people getting into debt due to gambling in the Western world, and a lot of young kids will be idolising their favourite football player, rugby player, cricket player, whatever it may be, and there's gambling adverts all over their jerseys. And that's why I have concerns, is young kids are growing up seeing this. This is why tobacco advertising is banned, and in France, alcohol advertising is banned also. You are noticing there's a lot of white-collar companies and blue-collar companies like engineering firms sponsoring as well, car firms, banks, your known brands. That's something that you want to continue. These betting companies, I think, sport needs to go, okay, this is getting a bit out of control now. The amount of adverts on, when the World Cup starts, you will see the amount of betting adverts go through the roof. And it's concerning me. But that's my view on it. But I'm not really happy and comfortable with the amount of adverts, the amount of betting companies sponsoring sporting events in the snooker, in the FA Cup, in the darts, sponsoring whole football teams and having their stadiums with their sponsor's name, naming the stadium after said betting company. It's deeply troubling for me. Deeply, deeply troubling. Because people in the 18-30 age bracket, so my age bracket, have a huge issue with gambling addiction. Big thing. Big thing. A lot of people get into a lot of debt, and that's where the moral crisis comes in. But it is what it is. I'm going to leave that there. That's my view on it. I think it's gone too far. I think it's unhealthy, and I think it's bad for sport. Because you've got to look at the amount of sportsmen and women. I've only named a few examples who have had issues with gambling or breached betting rules that their sport has laid down saying you cannot do this, and they've broken it because they've got into that issue. And also the connotations with organised crime around gambling as well. And then therefore match fixing. It's a slippery slope. But no, I'm going to leave that there. Thank you very much for watching. Place your thoughts below, and I'll have some more videos for you soon.